Hey, everybody. Thank you for being a part of Parent Cafe at ACE Academy. My name is Kim Thomas, and I'm here with our special guest today, Director Ed Prince from the Washington State Commission on African American Affairs. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. So, how are you today?
I am good. I mean, it's Tuesday. The sun's kind of sort of out.
Mm-hmm.
So I am doing excellent. And any day where the Lord wakes me up is a great day.
Okay. All right. I agree 100% with that. All right. So we are going to spend our afternoon, our conversations just learning more about the commission
Mhm.
and sharing the good work that you all are currently doing and what you are planning to do in the future.
Absolutely.
Okay. So let me know, could you explain to all of us what is the Commission on African American Affairs?
Absolutely, I can. So the Commission on African American Affairs was created by Governor's Executive Order in 1989,
Mm-hmm.
and then codified in the law by the legislature in 1991. And our role is to inform the governor, legislature, state agencies on issues, policies, and practices impacting African Americans across the state of Washington. During my tenure with the commission, we do that really in four buckets:
Okay.
education, economic security, reimagining public safety and public health, and environmental equity.
Okay. Okay, cool. And how does your role kind of like oversee all of this?
So I have a 9 member board of commissioners that are appointed by the governor. I'm appointed by the governor, and I basically my role is I basically try to make sure all the trains are leaving and coming
Okay.
on time.
Okay.
Like I deal with I am in some ways the voice and the face of the agency,
Mhm.
but I'm also the person that kind of tries to make sure all the things that need to be done to support our commissioners, who really their role is to be out in the community, talking to folks, bringing that
Okay.
information back.
Okay.
My role is to make sure that all the things that need to happen to make sure that the agency runs smoothly happens. And then like today, I had a conversation with someone in the governor's office.
Mhm.
I talk to legislators and different
Mhm.
state agencies. So I really I day to day face the agency, and the commissioners are like more the boots on the ground, what's going on in the community.
Okay. So are the commissioners like divided by districts?
So no, but we
Okay.
have 9 of them, and they're statewide.
Okay.
And so, because King County is such a large
Yeah.
part of
Mhm.
the state and has the largest African American population, there are more commissioners that represent King County. But we have them all over. We have someone in Spokane. We're getting ready to appoint someone from the Tri Cities.
Okay.
We've at times had people in Bremerton and Vancouver and
Mhm.
Snohomish County. So anywhere where you can find people who are willing to be active. And to me, it's if you're a commissioner or someone who's already doing stuff in the community,
Okay.
and this work is just another added value add where you're able
Mhm.
to continue to do that work, but you're able to bring that work back to us and
Okay.
inform us of what's happening in your
Mhm.
community.
Okay. And so how do you become a commissioner?
So you apply on the governor's office
Okay.
website. There's a tab for boards and commissions,
Okay.
and then you fill out an application.
Oh, okay. Well, it seems simple.
It is pretty simple. I mean, after they go through, they get all the stuff, they do interviews
Okay.
and all that. But yeah, it's
Okay.
really easy. You just go to the governor's website,
Oh,
and then you click on boards and commissions. They'll have a apply to be on a boards and
okay.
commission. You hit that button, and then you go from there.
Okay. Awesome. So, what are the priorities of the Commission for African American Affairs?
So, like I said, so all the stuff in education. I mean,
Okay.
we're doing a lot of stuff where we're talking about STEM. We're talking about
Mhm.
what we can do to make sure that we have more African American teachers.
Mhm.
Um, what can we do to make sure that graduation rates? Who can we
Mhm.
talk to make sure graduation rates stay on track?
Okay.
I know at one point I was having a conversation with someone in a different agency, and they were um, celebrating the five the how high the African American graduation rate was,
Mhm.
but they were using the 5 year rate. I went, but no, but high school's four
4
years.
years.
Let's not set
Oh my
African
goodness.
Americans to a lower
Oh,
standard
standard.
than we would anyone else. Let's
Yeah.
figure out what we can do to bring them up to the standard that we're judging everyone else on.
Oh my goodness. Oh, wow. That's crazy. I am so happy that you brought up the lack of African American teachers in Washington. As a mom of three children, I feel the angst of that. And especially, originally from Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't realize how unusual it was that I grew, all of my teachers were African American until I hit maybe my junior year in high school. So, what kind of support does the commission give to schools, districts about for recruiting and retaining and training, hiring African American teachers?
First, let me tell a little story.
Okay.
So I grew up here in Seattle,
Okay.
and I had quite a few African American teachers.
Okay.
And then when I went to high school, I had more.
Okay.
They were the teachers who held me accountable,
Wow.
who kicked my butt if I
Okay.
wasn't living up to the standard they knew I could live up to, and who would absolutely call home if I was messing around in class.
Okay.
Like, and so there's something about seeing someone that
Yeah.
looks like you
It's amazing.
that, and you know that they care about you,
Mm-hmm.
that they love you, and they'll do anything for you. That, so again, I have two kids,
Mm-hmm.
one who's in elementary school, one
Mm-hmm.
who's in middle school. Neither of them have ever had an African American teacher. And so we do a lot of conversations
Mm-hmm.
with districts, with the Superintendents Association,
Mm-hmm.
with all different types of entities to say,
Mm-hmm.
what can we do to bring in more African American teachers?
Yeah.
Like, you're losing something when you
Yes.
don't have, like,
Mm-hmm.
if, like, so my daughter's school, I think there's one, maybe two, actually, I take that back. There's 3 black faces in her school.
Okay.
They're all black women. One of them is the
Okay.
principal, which I think is amazing.
Okay.
I
That's
think it's
awesome.
amazing because
Mm-hmm.
for her to be able to see someone that
Mm-hmm.
looks like her
Yes.
in a leadership role
Yep.
is so
Exactly.
important. In fact,
Mm-hmm.
I took her when Kamala Harris came to town.
Yeah.
I took her and her older brother, but especially her, to go see
Mm-hmm.
her.
Mm-hmm.
And Kamala Harris came up and was like, "Hey, baby, how are you doing?" And she's like, "Daddy, I want to be the vice president when I grow
Ah,
up."
that's so sweet.
It's important to see
Yes.
people who look
Mm-hmm.
like you so that you know that there are things you can accomplish
Yes.
outside of what maybe you see every day.
Mm-hmm.
So we work with a bunch of different agencies to say,
Okay.
hey, what can we do? What strategies can we put in place
Yeah.
to try to make sure we hire more African American
Yeah.
teachers?
You know, I think it's so important. For instance, my son is in school right now to become an educator, and one of his things that he's not coming back. He has decided to not come to Washington to teach, only because of the cost of living.
Mhm.
And so, how can the commission, like, I don't know if there's anything you all can do, but that is definitely an issue about the teacher salary and the cost of living
Yes.
in Washington, King County.
I wish there was more
Mhm.
that we can do. I mean, really, what we can do is advocate for the legislature to try
Mhm.
to, and I say this, and then I think
Mhm.
they're going to talk about Initiative 200.
Mhm.
What can we do to sweeten the pot
Yeah.
to try to bring in
Mhm.
more African American
Yeah.
teachers? But the other thing is,
Mhm.
we also need to have districts that are ready for those
Mhm.
teachers.
Yeah.
So if you have a
Mhm.
structure that's set up where you're not going to take the type of feedback that you need, and you're not
Mhm.
going to have a welcoming school community,
Yeah.
you know,
That's an issue too.
that,
Yeah.
I had a meeting
Mhm.
with the Washington State PTA,
Mhm.
and they were like, what can we do to get more black parents involved? And I went, well, you guys can all be better allies
Mhm.
because you all will advocate for yourselves.
Mhm.
But are you ever, I said, and two, you have parents who have time to come to the PTA.
Mhm.
Maybe they work nights. Maybe there's something else going on.
Mhm.
There's something else going on in their life economically
Mhm.
that's not allowing them to go, oh, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go join the PTA.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But, and if they feel like it's an adversarial
Mhm.
relationship,
Mhm.
no one's going to spend their free time doing something that they feel is
Mm-mm.
adversarial.
Yeah. That is so true. And usually these PTA meetings are during a day, during a
Mhm.
school day, and so it's difficult. I don't think I ever attended a PTA meeting because of work.
So my daughter, the
Mhm.
principal at my daughter's
Mhm.
school, moved them to nights
Oh,
because she
okay.
was like, we need to make sure that
Mhm.
we can get as many different parents as
Yes.
possible.
Oh, your principal is awesome. So, I know that you said that the commissioners and the you and there's things that are happening in Olympia. Are the policymakers in Washington are aware that this is really a big issue, the lack of African American teachers?
I think the ones who have the focus on it,
Hmm.
like right now, we're sitting in the 37th legislative district,
Hmm.
and State Representative Sharon Tomiko Santos, who's a huge advocate
Hmm.
for education.
Hmm.
She and I have had, and for disclosure, my
Hmm.
old boss,
Hmm.
she and I have had so many
Hmm.
conversations
Hmm.
about how we need to have more African American teachers. We
Hmm.
need more teachers of color, period,
Period.
but
Hmm.
we need more African American
Hmm.
teachers. You know, my son, I'll give you an example. He was sent me a text yesterday while he was in class, and he was like, I get up to go do something, and someone talks to me, and the teacher yells at me when all I was doing was getting something from
Mm,
my thing. And he's like,
yeah.
he said, I feel singled out.
Yeah.
And so
That's tough.
I wrote the teacher and said,
Hmm.
hey, can we, the three of us, have a meeting
Yeah.
so we can talk about this, so we can end the year on a
Hmm.
good note?
Hmm.
Because I know my son well enough to know that
Hmm.
if if he starts feeling more and more singled out,
Hmm.
he's going to act in a way that's not appropriate. And then
Yeah.
he and I are going to have a conversation.
Yeah. Yep.
But I'm
Hmm.
fortunate enough that I have the time that I can be like, hey, let's go meet. There are a lot of parents who don't have that.
Yeah.
So we have to have a school environment that's welcoming for everybody.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Thank you so much for sharing that. Okay, so I was on your website and I was reading that one of the roles for the Commission on African American Affairs is closing the opportunity and achievement gap for students.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you can explain what that means to the Commission, and then how do you all do that?
So first, I will say we specifically use opportunity gap
Mm-hmm.
now
Mm-hmm.
because achievement gap makes it seem like it's an issue with the student.
Okay.
Opportunity gap makes it seem like there's an issue with the structure.
Yeah, okay.
And
Hmm.
so it's we there is a group called the Education Opportunity Gap Oversight and Accountability Committee
Okay.
that's out of the Office of the Superintendent of Public Instruction.
Okay.
We meet almost monthly,
Okay.
and they have legislators on it, they
Mhm.
have educators on it,
Mhm.
and it's all about what strategies can we put together to help close the opportunity gap.
Mhm.
And so that's really where most of our work comes in is
Mhm.
working with that group, but also talking to districts like,
Mhm.
hey, what are you guys putting in
Mhm.
place
Mhm.
to try to take care of your students of color
Mhm.
and to reduce that opportunity gap? And
Mm.
and for myself as a parent, again, we're close to summer,
Yeah.
and both my kids know they're not just going to sit on their butts all summer. There's some learning that's going to happen
Mhm.
because I can't remember
Mm.
the stat, but I was told once that, especially with African American students,
Mhm.
when the school year starts, the first 3+ weeks are just going over the things that they've
Yeah.
learned at the end of the year last year.
Mhm.
And then we move into, because the summer learning loss is
Yep.
so
Yep.
large,
Yep.
especially if you are economically disadvantaged.
Mm.
You don't have the time to be like, oh, hey, let's go to this museum, let's go do this, let's
Yep.
go do that. And so we have to figure out what we can do to shrink that summer learning
Mhm.
loss.
Yep. And that's another injustice is how much it costs to be engaged in those kinds of ways. After summer camps and
Yes,
um, those educational programs and things like that. It
they're
can be
expensive.
expensive, be really expensive.
Yes.
Okay, so now this is we're kind of like going right into this is a great segue into our next question is what ways can the commission support families who are having challenges within their schools with teachers and administration?
So one of the things that we can do
Hmm.
is we can work with the parents. I'm sorry,
Okay.
we can work with the parents and have a conversation with the administration. In fact,
Okay.
we're in the process of that right now.
Okay.
There was an issue last year because there's a new-ish ethnic studies curriculum,
Okay.
and a teacher in the school district gave out an assignment about why you shouldn't compare black people to monkeys.
Oh Lord.
And needless to
Oh
say,
my goodness.
needless to say, the student who got it, that
Mhm.
was, I think, one of only 4 African
Mhm.
Americans in that school.
Mhm.
So you know right now it wasn't here in King County.
Yeah.
Had a certain feeling
Yeah.
because if you Google African Americans and monkeys, you're gonna get all
All
sorts
kind of
of
stuff.
horrible
Yes.
images. And so they came to us. Like, actually, they talked to the teacher. Teacher
Okay.
thought the assignment was fine. Talked to the principal. Principal thought the assignment was fine. Talked to the superintendent of the district. He's like, well, I'm going to support my teacher and my
Mhm.
principal.
Mhm.
So they came to us, and I went to Sharon Tomiko Santos because she's the
Mhm.
chair of the
Mhm.
House Education
Mhm.
Committee, and we pulled some people together,
Mhm.
and we are one sending them a letter,
Mhm.
just letting them know how offended we are
Mhm.
by that,
Mhm.
and two, there's going to be further conversations
Mhm.
with that district about what
Mhm.
ethnic studies looks like
Mhm.
and why you should never do a racist assignment like that.
Mhm.
So that's one of the
Mhm.
things that we can do is just work with the administration, with the
Yeah.
teacher.
Yeah.
The other thing is there is a office of the state education ombuds,
Okay.
and the ombuds is even more equipped than we are to be able to
Mhm.
help navigate issues with
Mhm.
parents and schools,
Mhm.
administration and
Mhm.
teachers. And we lean on them heavy, and we work in
Okay.
partnership with them a lot
Mhm.
because it's really big in their
Mhm.
wheelhouse.
Mhm.
But those are really the two ways that we can help.
Mhm. So, what happened to the family? I'm just curious.
So, I mean, I believe the daughter did the assignment. The mother
Oh
was really
no.
upset.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, we're in the process of just kind of telling the
Yeah.
district, don't ever do anything like that
Yeah.
again
Yeah.
because,
I think that's the most harmful thing is because the trauma has
yes,
happened and now the family has to live with the trauma of having to complete this assignment so
yes,
the child can get graded so they can go beyond, but then also having to wait for some kind of resolution to
yes.
happen.
And so I was on one of the calls we were
Yeah.
on. We were on there with like the president of
Uh-huh.
the state board of education,
Mhm. Mhm.
and he was like, "What was that superintendent thinking? Like
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
instantly should have went in and put the
Yeah.
kibosh on this.
Yeah.
Like I don't know what that person was thinking."
Mhm.
And so yeah, we're in the process.
Yeah.
We're at the end
Uh-huh.
stages of trying to repair that,
Yeah.
but we're also finding ways to find support for the
Yeah,
family.
yeah. So what I'm hearing from you about the work that the commission does is a lot of the behind the scenes, trying to navigate all of these different arms, the political arm, the school arm, the African American arm, that trying to figure out how to like not repeat mistakes, but kind of move forward.
Yes, in many ways, I tell people all
Uh-huh.
the time, we are like the front door to the state bureaucracy
Mhm.
because people try to navigate the state bureaucracy on their
Mhm.
own all the time,
Mhm.
and if you don't have great education
Mhm.
or you have to work multiple jobs,
Mhm.
you just don't have the time
Yeah.
to try to make that your
Mhm.
full time. Another small
Mhm.
story. Years ago, this is maybe 7, 8 years ago.
Mhm.
There was a gentleman who worked for school district. The new principal came in. He was a custodian. He and the new principal didn't get along.
Okay.
He wrongly, the principal said something to him. He blocked the principal's car in with cones,
Oh
like
Lord.
the, just kind of passive aggressive,
Yes.
but also
Yes.
wrong.
Yes.
He lost his job.
Okay.
Um, and so he started collecting unemployment, trying to
Uh-huh.
find another job.
Uh-huh.
The principal called employment security and said, "Oh no, he's working." So they took his benefits away without checking to see if he was actually working.
Oh my
And for
goodness.
2 years, he fought to try to
Yeah.
navigate the thing.
Uh-huh.
Lost his home, lost his car.
Mm.
Um, Finally got in touch with our office. We were able to
Mhm.
elevate his issue to the deputy director of employment security,
Mm.
show all the paperwork that
Mhm.
proved that he wasn't working.
Yeah.
And so not only did he get benefits back,
Yeah.
but he got retroactive benefits.
Yeah.
And he was so happy.
Yeah.
And I was actually he like cried
Oh
when
my
we told him
goodness.
because it was a 2 year struggle for him.
Oh my
And
goodness. But he already lost his home and lost his
this is
car.
yeah. And I'm like,
Oh.
you don't get to bring back the
Yes.
things that he's lost.
Yeah.
He just gets to start over again.
Yeah.
And I couldn't tell him this because I was like, if it was me, I'd have sued the district. I would
Yeah.
have sued the district.
Yeah.
Once now that there's proof that he
Yeah.
actually wasn't working, I've been like, hey, this person took a vendetta out on me
Yeah.
for.
Oh
But
my goodness.
so we work more in the background trying to make things happen than out in front.
Okay, and so you do more than support families in education.
Yes.
But you're literally the gatekeeper or the go-between between the average citizen
Yes.
and
Yeah,
we're
lawmakers.
Kind of the
front door.
Okay.
And so what we try to do is try to help navigate the bureaucracy, but we're a policy organization. We're really invested in what can we get the legislature to do to better policy for African Americans across the state.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Okay, so this question is one that I'm really interested in knowing more about. So on your website, you talk about in economic security as one of the priorities.
Yes.
And so I know that can be just a construct. That can be something like an ideal, what we're looking for. So how does the commission and you as the director contextualize it to hardworking citizens?
Public sector jobs.
Okay.
Public sector contracts. And I mean, that's really the two areas that we work in the most is if you're a small black owned business, what can we do and how can we advocate to make sure that you're able to find, get public sector contracts?
Okay.
Because once Initiative 200 happened, that made affirmative action illegal. In my mind, there's still affirmative action, but it's not for folks that look like us.
Yeah. Nepotism.
Yes, exactly. So it's what can we do? We work a lot with the Washington State Department of Transportation.
Okay.
And the Department of Enterprise Services, which has a bunch of other contracts for. And like, what can we do to make sure that you all are making, providing opportunities for black small minority contractors? And I just had a meeting yesterday where I was talking to some labor folks, and one of the things that they were saying is that oftentimes the small minority contractors end up being the last ones paid. And so,
oh man,
so you work on a project, everyone else is getting paid, and then you end up waiting 120 days or 60 days or 90 days to get paid. Most folks can't wait that long.
No, not if you're a small business.
No, pay their people, and so they get loans, and they're robbing Peter to pay Paul, and they're doing whatever. And so, hearing that, I'm like, okay, now what can we do to make sure that they're not the last paid? Like, how do we bump them up the paying pecking order? So really, it's trying to make sure that the state is doing what they need to do and upholding their responsibility for small minority contractors.
So if a small business is having problems that has a contract with the state or federal or state,
State.
What about city?
Not really.
Not really.
I mean, we can have a conversation, but
okay.
State,
so state. So if you're a small business and you have a contract with the state and you're having issues, you can go and talk to someone at the commission. Okay, that's good to know. Okay. All right. Thank you so much. All right. So my last question, and I thank you for your
Of
time and
course.
everything. How can families get involved in with the commission?
Oh man. So we have five meetings a year. I had
Okay.
to think about that
Uh-huh.
for a second. All over the state.
Okay.
Our next meeting's in September. We're going to be in Snohomish County. We're going to be in
Okay.
Everett.
Okay.
But we have a newsletter
Okay.
that has events,
Mhm.
job
Mhm.
postings, all sorts of
Yep.
things
Yep.
that
Mhm.
you can do that. And then one of the things that, so we have an education committee,
Mhm.
and one of the things that I'm trying to convince them to do
Mhm.
in the lead up for next school year
Mhm.
is do a Black Parent Summit
Ooh.
so that we can have
Mhm.
Black parents come and talk to
Mhm.
us about
Mhm.
what they want to see,
Mhm.
what issues they're having with the
Mhm.
districts that they're in,
Mhm.
and how the commission can support
Mhm.
and help.
Yeah.
I mean, because nothing better than going to the source,
Yeah, for sure. Mhm.
and there aren't a lot of governmental structures that are like,
Mhm.
hey, let's talk to these Black parents and find out
Mhm.
what they need. It's,
Yeah.
you know, you've got PTA and you've got all the other stuff that's
Mhm.
for majority, but
Yeah.
there's not really
Yeah.
anything for what can we do? Because if you're supporting Black parents, you're
Mhm.
supporting Black students.
Yeah, for yes, that is correct. That's correct. When the black student, when we want our children to go to school and learn and receive the same benefits, the same kind of respect that other children receive,
Absolutely.
that takes such a load off our shoulders, and then we could work and we can provide for our family and not have to worry about our children being mistreated in the schools.
Yes.
And yes,
And that
just
was
did
why.
it.
So that was
Mhm.
why the moment my son said,
Mhm.
"I'm feeling singled out," I'm like,
Yeah.
"I'm gonna email your teacher. Don't worry about it.
Yes.
I got it."
Yep.
And I was like, I can't. And it's so funny because I have people say, "You're so involved. You've
Mhm.
got all this stuff going on, but
Mhm.
you're so involved in your kids'
Mhm.
schools." And I said, for two reasons. One, very often when a Black child goes to school,
Mhm.
the baseline assumption is they don't have a father.
Yes.
That's the baseline assumption.
Yes.
Oh, they
Yes.
don't have a dad. They're
Mhm.
they're being raised by their mom or
Uh-huh.
their grandma or their aunt or
For sure.
they're
Mhm.
not thinking.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh no. The moment my
Mhm.
son stepped foot in elementary
Mhm.
school, I'm like, they're gonna know
Mhm.
that he has a dad
Yeah.
and that I have certain standards for
Yeah.
I have standards for both of them.
Mhm.
I tell them both every day. Well, I tell my son something different. I'm not going to
Mhm.
say that on camera.
Uh-huh.
I tell my daughter every day when I drop her off at
Mhm.
school,
Mhm.
be a leader
Mhm.
and do your best.
Mhm.
Because at the end of the day,
Mhm.
if you're leading and you're doing your best,
Mhm.
that's all I can ask.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I tell my son, when you are forward, the view never
Mhm.
changes.
Yeah.
You're
Mhm.
always seeing the back of someone else.
Mhm.
When you're leading, you see everything.
Yeah. That's so true. That's hey, you all take that because that's some good insight. Um, but I agree with you all about setting expectations for children. But one of the things me and my husband used to do, we had to do it a lot since we moved here in the beginning of the school year, is set expectations for the
Yes.
teachers.
Oh no, that's absolutely true. But and the other thing that I tell my son, anytime he gets in trouble, I'm like, why are you acting like you're other people's children? Like you're my son. Like you know
Yeah.
that people know who I am. You can't
Mhm.
just do.
Yeah.
You're not anonymous.
Yes.
So you gotta, I'm
Mhm.
sorry, you're not.
Mhm. Yeah.
So life is not fair,
Hmm.
but you have to act. You have to act right because you never know who's going to see you do
Yeah.
something, who's going to pick
Mhm.
up the phone and call me,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna. And honestly, that's how it was when I was a kid.
That was how it
When I was a
was.
kid, that's how it
Yeah.
was. It was,
I
hey,
remember that. I
I couldn't
remember
get away
that.
with anything because if an adult saw it,
Mhm.
it was the hotline right back home.
Mhm. I remember that. That was we had like a more connected community back
Absolutely.
then. I hope we can get back to that.
I really want us to. I mean, I
Mhm.
think part of what's happened is, at least I'll say here in Seattle,
Mhm.
when when black folks weren't just
Mhm.
able to live in one area,
Yeah.
and it got too expensive
Mhm.
and folks spread out,
Mhm.
a lot of that sense of community
Mm.
was lost
Yeah.
because you weren't just down the street from so and such
Mhm.
and such.
Mhm.
Maybe you lived in Renton,
Mhm.
but they were living in Sumner. Like
Yeah.
there's not that
Yeah.
same
It's
connection
it's
that there
tougher.
was.
It's
Yes,
tougher because the traffic is no joke.
not at all.
Thank you again for your
My
time. I
pleasure.
really appreciate hearing from you and hearing that there is help out there for us parents
Absolutely.
and families and communities. And so you all will be sharing more information about the commission. And thank you for joining us today.
All righty.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.